welcome to the first Thrifted Thursday with your host, Miss Joanna, and myself. Welcome to the Hot Mess Express, people. Woohoo! So, playlist will be in my description box of all the beautiful ladies that are flipping their thrifts, as well as Miss Joanna's YouTube channel link. I'm going to start by taking some spindles, and I cut them off into pieces. Those spindles came off of a chair found in a dumpster, so that's considered thrifted. Thank you, Randy. Woohoo! Usually you hear Shelly, but now it's Randy. Thank you, Randy, for the chair. Okay, so I took the spindles, that was like the legs and some of the back of the chair, and I just cut those at varying lengths. I'm taking some chalk paint and pumpkin and plaster. Some of them, the bigger ones that I cut, the fatter ones there, that were the legs of the chair, I'm going to paint with just regular old pumpkin Waverly. And then this lighter color is a mixture of the plaster and the pumpkin, and I cut the smaller spindles. I painted the smaller spindles with that. And I'm not going to put you through this whole thing of watching me paint all that mess. But there you go. So everybody's painted, making sure everything's dry. Now we're going to do a little bit of distressing. On the smaller ones that I use kind of the creamy pumpkin color, I'm using the actual pumpkin color that was left on the brush, and I'm kind of just distressing them and swiping over them a little bit to give them that little pop of orange there. So you can see just a second, I'll show you how those two look compared to one I haven't done. But I'll go ahead and do to all the lighter colored ones. And then I'm going to take, if the right video pops up, oh yes, my antique wax here. And I'm going to distress all of them, the small ones and the big ones, with the antique wax. Guys, I'm warning you, you think you've seen a hot mess video by me? You haven't seen nothing. Notice I didn't do an intro because my phone is screaming storage problems with me again, and it has literally taken me since 11 o'clock this morning, or you're going to be watching this now. So yesterday, it would have been Wednesday, from 11 o'clock that morning until 8 o'clock that night to get this thing done. Oh, Malanta. Anyway, you can see how that antique wax, I'm distressing all of them. All my little spindles here. Can you guess maybe what we're making? It's getting close to spring. Guess what we're doing? I'm going to put a little foliage on the top of that by taking my drill. Once they were dry, I'm going to drill a hole in the top. And I've got some just sprigs. The boxwood, I think it is, came from Walmart. And then the longer, stringier ones were some foliage that came from the Dollar Tree that I had in my stash. I'm just cutting 2 pieces of the long Dollar Tree foliage and 1 sprig of the boxwood. You make sure your drill bit is big enough to stuff all this in. Plus, you notice I put a little bit of hot glue in there so that it all sticks in there. Like I said, video's a hot mess, guys. I'm bouncing from one thing to another because, yeah, see, we went from carrots to now we got a box. Thrifted box from my friend Randy. Thank you, Randy. Love you, Randy. And Randy is getting the kudos today instead of Shelly. Okay, anyway, guys. So we're going to take this box. I wanted to use this at Christmas. If you watch my video back at Christmas when I put the little magic carrots in the wagon, I wanted to put them in this box, but I didn't get around to that. So this could be a 2-for-1, because we got the reindeer treats on one side. Well, what can reindeer eat? They eat carrots. And then on the other side, we're going to make it springy. So we're going to have carrots. That's what the spindles are. I'm kind of fixing up the box. It had some water damage, so I sanded it up a little bit. I'm fixing this one end right here that was popping out. Put a couple little extra pin nail screws in it. As you can see me doing, like I said, I could have probably cut this out. That's why I'm talking a lot, guys, you know. Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying 20 minutes ago, didn't do an intro because you don't want to see this hot mess because, oh my, I didn't know if it fit anyway. I didn't know if I had room. I didn't even have room for all the video. That's why we went from carrots to reindeer treat boxes. I didn't even show you finishing my carrots because I couldn't fit it in there, and I'm just a hot mess. I'm telling you. Me and Joanna, we the perfect team right here. Yeah, buddy. 2 hot mess expresses chugging on down the tracks. I love my Joanna. I love you, Joanna. I love you. Anywho, I'm going to take some plaster here and just a big chippy brush. And this is going to be a big, messy distressing. On purpose. Believe it or not. Notice I hold my brush sideways. And then I also hold it like the normal way. I guess you could call it the normal way, like that right there. But then I guess I could have slowed it down so you could see that part. But I cut some of this out because it felt like it just went on forever. But I'm more brushing this sideways than I am with the brush like you would normally paint. But I'm going to get all the sides. I kind of get the bottom, but I don't worry about the bottom too much. So you can see that I filled most of it in, but not completely. I barely did it, and then I didn't like it, so I just kept going and going until I was happy and my eyes was happy. So, and now I'm going to get the edges all the way around the top here. Doop, 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 doop. And I'm still just turning my brush. See, this is the bottom, so I didn't stress too much out about the bottom, but now I'll kind of get after it here in a little bit. But I didn't worry about the bottom. I'm just kind of showing you guys the sides. See how I got the brush sideways so that it's skinny as I paint instead of wide as I paint, I guess you could say there, kind of. So I'm just kind of swiping back and forth and then making sure I get those edges until I'm happy. I just want a little bit of the brown to come through. See there? Okay, so I tape that off because like I said, we're going to make this a 2-for-1. We can use it at Christmas and then we can use it in the springtime. Anywho's, so I'm just distressing around that edge. I took my painter's tape and taped that off because I didn't want to mess up that metal sign. That's actually a metal sign in there, and it's so cute, and I didn't want to mess it up. I did not worry about the inside because we're going to fill that with floral foam and all the goodies, and yeah, I'm still taking my plaster by Waverly, and I'm just all over the place. Yes, I like the plaster better than just a stark white. Now, you're going to have some footage missing here in just a second. I do take some antique wax, which you will not see, and I took a sponge brush and distressed the edges, but I did not like it. So that's why it kind of looks like there's some brown in there. It was too much. So then I distressed it back with the plaster. So you can see that looks kind of brighter on top because I put the antique wax on. See, oh, you can see it better on this side. And then I rubbed it in with a wet wipe and then a dry paper towel, and just nothing was making me happy. So after it was kind of all like this smeary brownish color, I took my plaster again and just went over it, and I really liked how that turned out. I just kept playing with it. Here's some more footage that was cut out, but those letters there came from Hobby Lobby when they have their 40% off their wood stuff. And I just took a dry paper towel and my antique wax and gave them a coat. Those little carrots there came from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just using some more pumpkin by Waverly and painting the bottom of the carrot. And on the top, I am going to use fern chalk paint by Waverly to paint the tops of those little carrots. You will not see me do this because here's some more missing footage. I'm going to take the antique wax here in a minute when it all gets dry and a sponge brush and make little lines on it like the lines of a carrot, you know, because carrots aren't perfect and they're bumpy and have grooves and they got dirty lines on them. So I'm going to do that here in a minute, but you won't get to see that. I'm sure you'll see it sometime this spring because I love springtime. I love making springtime decor. It's so fun. See, there's my carrots. So I took them and I laid them on the board the way I want. This is the front. This is the opposite side of the reindeer treat side. So we got carrot patch here. I'm just using my wood glue from the Dollar Tree, which is the best stuff ever. I like using the wood glue because it gives me time to wiggle and move things around. Because, see, we don't do things straight because I would never get it straight if my life depended on it. So we make things wonky on purpose. Purposefully wonky is what we call that. So anyway, that gives me time to move them around if I don't like it, which was good. That's why I did not use hot glue. And there it is. We got our little carrots on. Oh, back to the carrots. There we go. Gracie's going to help me out. So there, see, I was showing you what I did. I also put some really fine raffia at the top and just put some hot glue and wrap that around. We're now going to take these guys. Got a big old honk of floral foam there, and that's that hard stuff. I don't like the hard floral foam. It's yeah, struggle bus right here, struggle bus. So I don't show you the whole struggle bus. The little ones that are light colored were easy to get in. The bigger spindles, the orange ones, I had to, like, you can see me right here taking just my blade and trying to dig a hole in the foam and getting those all stuck in. So I'm just kind of just placing them where whatever makes me happy, you know, and it's good. And no, I did not hot glue the foam in because I don't like gluing it in, and it'll be okay. I did not hot glue the carrots in, but you could if you wanted to. Okay, so here's this little sign, pets preferred, yep, that I got from the Dollar Tree that's been in my stash forever and a day. We're going to rip all the paper off the tag, sand it down, clean it up, all that good stuff. There she is, ain't she pretty? Now I'm going to take my plaster and I'm going to coat the whole thing, but I'm going to change that later. And I have this roll of burlap from the Dollar Tree that's been in my stash forever. I just love the teal spots. It's like one of my favorite colors. So we're going to paint this whole thing, back, front, sides, bottom, in the plaster. That way, I guess I probably could have left it, because since the burlap's brown, I could have just left it brown and not painted it. But, you know, it's okay. So here we go. I'm just going to cut out a chunk of that burlap right there, right there. There she goes, right there. Doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doo. I'll leave stuff in that you don't know how to do. Blah, 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 blah. Words. Okay, so we're going to get that chunk cut out. Absolutely going to save that. I'm going to kind of flip it over, and I'm just going to take my pencil and trace it. Give it a rough trace, rough sketch, and then I'll take my scissors and I'll cut kind of outside of the line. That way, if I have too much, it's better to have too much than not enough. You can take away, but you can't add. Whoop, whoop. Okay, now we're going to take our Mod Podge here, and we're just going to really, really coat this thing. Since that's burlap, we want to make sure that that gets soaked. So I'm just going to go all over it. Watch what happens to my brush, guys. This is the day I've had. Watch. Wait for it. Wait for it. Ba-ding! Yep, that's the day I've had today. Anywho, had so much fun putting the project together, but the editing of this, I need to find me an editor. Anyway, so we're going to lay that on top. I'm going to push that down real good. Any of the overlapping, we're going to cut off with my blade here once everything is good and dry, which is what I'm showing you here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a big old goopy layer on top, because we want to make sure that that sticks real good. So, yeah, it's going to look snow white, but I got it all over. That baby's good to go. And we're going to let that dry. Okay, now while that's drying, I got some bunny feet here from the Dollar Tree. I filled in the holes because Dollar Tree thinks everything has to be an ornament and they have to put a hole in it with some just that dry spackle stuff. Now you can see that those feet look a darker brown because I wanted to match the burlap. It was caramel by Apple Barrel. And then I decided, no, I don't like that. So I went with Cashew by Waverly, and besides it being chalk paint is better anyway. I like chalk paint better than just acrylic paint. Anywho, but you guys do know that if you have a color of acrylic paint that you like, but not a chalk paint, mix some chalk paint with your acrylic paint and it will give you that same coverage. If you can find similar colors, or if you want to lighten it up with some white or darken it up with some black. Anywho, so I'm using that Cashew and I'm just kind of getting his foot part. It's kind of hard to see, I know, because it's kind of the same color as the wood. So I probably could have just left it alone, but you know. Now I'm going to take this Cameo Pink. I believe that's what it is. Let me check real quick. What is it? Yep, Cameo Pink. That is by Apple Barrel. What I'm showing you here is Cashew. I should have painted that whole thing in Cashew, but that's what happens when you're crafting and you make last minute decisions and after things are already done. So I'm going to paint the back of that and the sides and the bottom when it all gets dry with that Cashew like I did his feet. Now we're taking this Cameo Pink and we're just painting his little toe beans and the little pads of his foot, and I will do that to both of them. And it took about 2 coats. It actually wasn't too bad since that's a lighter color wood. So there we go, both of them done. And I cut out the footage where I trimmed the outside edge with my blade and then some scissors. You can see that I put my feet where I wanted them, and then I outlined them with my pencil so I knew where to put the glue. And we're just going to hot glue these babies on. We're going to be looking at his bottom. He's going to be diving into the carrot patch to get all the carrots. They all his. And don't mind my nasty head. Okay. So there we go. Gonna make sure those are on there really good. We're dry. We're good to go. Oh, but his bum bum gotta have a tail. So this is just a big old poof ball from like Christmas from the Dollar Tree. And I'll hot glue that right there on his bum. And see how I colored all that on the back and the back of the feet with that Cashew, because I knew some of it might show a little bit. So, and yeah, there goes the box. Okay, anyway, oh my Lanta. We're going to make a little sign here. I got 2 of those big, huge, gigantic sticks from Walmart, and I just hot glued the 2 of those together to make sure I had a sturdy sign. There is an arrow that's been in my stash forever from the Dollar Trees. I'm going to cut the string off, of course, and then I'm going to take the spackle and stuff, and I'm going to fill in the 2 holes at the top because we don't want none of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, well, we're going to use that black chalk paint that I got from Dollar General. It's not too bad. It's pretty good. And we're going to paint the arrow black, and I'm going to paint the stick with just my antique wax. This is a dry paper towel, not a wet one. And I'm just going to paint all that up, both sides, all around the edges, make sure it's all good. That'll be the stick. All right, and now we're going to take our black that came from the Dollar General, and I'm going to paint both sides of it are going to get painted, and I'm also painting the edges, but I don't put you through all that, just most of it, so you can sit here and suffer. Anyway, here we go. So one side got dry, I did paint the other side, boom, all done. Whoop, whoop, there we go. Okay, now, I don't show you all of this, but yeah, here I'm just kind of distressing it a little bit, sanding the edges off just a little, because, you know, we always got to have some distressing, whether we're taking the paint off or we're changing the color with some brown or some gray. Wipe it off. I made all my crickets. Here, bunny. And of course, I didn't make it the right size, and I didn't even try to place it on there before I officially stuck it down. So I'm putting on the here, and then I'll put the first bunny underneath, and then the second bunny doesn't fit beside it, and the struggle, y'all. I did just order me a Cricut Joy Extra, so I don't have to use my big machine all the time. I'm so excited. It was on sale on the Cricut website. Woohoo! Okay, so anyway, and then I got the arrow glued to the side, and I did do some squigglies on the arrow with just a white paint pen, and I just shoved that down in there, and we're going to glue bunny butt on the edge here in just a second, but not yet. We're going to have to obviously cover that floral foam, so I've got some green moss here. I guess this is the reindeer moss. I don't know. It's moss. Anywho, after I did it, it's all green, and I thought maybe I should put some brown in it, but I never did. But I might. I can still do that if I wanted to. Okay, bunny butt, time to go. So I'm just going to use some hot glue, put a little on the back of the feet, put some on the bottom, and stick that sucker on there and hold it for just a second. It probably would have been better to kind of do a half and half wood glue, which is what I'll show you here in a second, and hot glue for that temporary hold plus a permanent hold. So there we go. Now what that's going to look like, I guess I could turn it into a reindeer at Christmas. But there she is, Carrot Patch, and the bunny's getting his fill. I don't know what kind of bunny wears burlap pajama bottoms, but boop, boop, there you go. So there's our carrots with our raffia glued around the edge and just drilled a hole in the top to put the foliage in. There's our here bunny. I guess it doesn't look too bad. And you see the white squiggles and dots kind of around the edge. I like whimsical things. You guys know that. But there it is. I thought it came out pretty cute. Here, bunny. My gosh, guys, if you love this hot mess, man, go check out Joanna and her channel and go check out that playlist. These are my peeps. These are my besties. I love them all. I love you guys. Talk to you later.